When Thor first showed up in the MCU, he was brash, arrogant, and self-centered. Sure, he was a god, but he was still kind of a jerk. We've seen him grow a lot since then, but that doesn't mean he's perfect. Many of us were disappointed that he didn't aim for Thanos' head in Avengers Infinity War. But did Thor manage to redeem himself? We'll talk about what really happened to the God of Thunder in Avengers Endgame. Many fans consider the movies Thor and Thor the Dark World to be strictly in the okay to pretty good categories of Marvel films. They're not terrible by any means, but they don't stand up to some of the other gems in the Marvel movie library. Despite his first two standalone films being lackluster, Thor is a hero who has always shined. In fact, both Thor and Loki are two fan-favorite MCU characters, despite the fact that they've starred in some pretty mundane movies. Thor started out as a bold, brash, and arrogant person who soon realized he was totally unfit to rule Asgard, and really that seems like the kind of thing Odin should have noticed before pushing his coronation. Really, what was he thinking? But by the end of the first movie, Thor realized he had to do better if he wanted to be a good ruler and a good hero. And unlike most people who just talk about improving, Thor really did grow into a true hero. But this doesn't mean he was free of the issues which we've seen plague other heroes in the MCU. Thor has experienced tremendous loss in his life, and even if you're a superhero or an Asgardian god, that still hurts. His mother Frigga passed away in the Dark World. He lost his father Odin in Ragnarok, and his brother Loki perished in Infinity War. Even his girlfriend Jane Foster called things off, and while he tried to be casual about it, it was clearly causing him pain. Come on, Thor, we all know it wasn't mutual. It never is. And in Endgame, we got to see the culmination of all those years of pain and suffering on Thor's psyche. We did see hints of it during Infinity War, namely when he used Stormbreaker to aim for Thanos' chest instead of his head. He let his personal desire for vengeance override doing what was right, and it ended terribly for everybody. Sure, it's easy to focus on the way Thor let himself go post-Infinity War. Yes, he does look like the dude from The Great Lebowski. Yes, he drinks way too much beer. And yes, you could be playing Fortnite with the God of Thunder, but really, what we saw was someone who had been completely overcome by loss and self-loathing. When he traveled back in time with Rocket to collect the Reality Stone, we saw him summon Mjolnir, a moment that made the audience cheer, but left Thor feeling relieved. He was genuinely concerned that his negative feelings about himself and the overwhelming hopelessness which had consumed his life had caused him to become unworthy. Sometimes superheroes forget their people too. We've seen Tony Stark struggle with his mental health in Iron Man 3, and this is really just Thor going through something similar. It's easy to laugh at Thor's big old beer belly, and clearly Marvel intended us to have that reaction. Thor went from being a perfectly chiseled god to looking like Randy from Trailer Park Boys, but Thor's poor housekeeping, isolation from his people, and abysmal personal hygiene are all very real symptoms of depression. Thor wasn't throwing back beer to have fun. He was trying to self-medicate. Thor knew he was supposed to be leading the Asgardians, but he felt unworthy of even lifting his own hammer. Did you notice that despite his shocking appearance, Thor never went through any sort of training montage? There was no time skip, no ancient Asgardian magic, or any innovative workout routine that made Thor magically get his old form back. Yet, we see Thor become his old self over the course of the film. He gets back into the battle, reconnects with old friends, cleans up his hair and beard, and gets that gleam back in his eye. Well, at least the one real eye he has left. This purely emotional and mental transformation is proof that Thor's issue wasn't just that he put on some weight. He was dealing with some seriously heavy stuff, and as we've seen before, even heroes can have issues with their mental health. During his reunion with his mother Frigga, she assures him that everyone fails from time to time, and that it's important to be who you are despite this. This is something we see Thor truly take to heart, and it's reflected in his actions later in the movie. We had a lot of questions after Avengers Endgame ended, and one of them was just how is power transferred in Asgard? Is it really just through a firm old handshake delivered with zero witnesses? If so, that seems like a pretty terrible way to go about things. Yet, we see Thor do exactly this when he hands over the reins of New Asgard to Valkyrie. It may look like Thor is giving Valkyrie the boring administrative duties of running a city while he heads off for fun outer space adventures, but there's more to it than that. Thor is doing exactly what Frigga told him to do, and that is to be himself. Walking away from something which you've always been told is your birthright and your destiny is no easy thing. Thor has always felt a strong sense of responsibility towards Asgard, but he knows he's leaving the Asgardians in good hands. Weirdly enough, Thor heading out with the Guardians of the Galaxy, or should we say the Asgardians of the Galaxy, is really a form of self-care. Thor is finally doing what makes him happy, and we can't wait to see where that takes him. Interestingly enough, actor Chris Hemsworth has been on a similar journey to that experienced by Thor. He revealed that while he enjoyed the first Thor movie, he felt like his character got watered down to some extent. He said he felt movies like The Dark World and Age of Ultron became predictable or overly earnest, self-important and serious. He lamented that not enough unexpected things happened to the God of Thunder, and this made him feel similarly stagnant and unfulfilled as an actor. Thankfully, when he brought these concerns to Marvel Studios, they actually listened. His feedback and insight into his character was a driving force behind Thor Ragnarok, which many hail as one of the best movies in the MCU. Heading into Endgame, Hemsworth and Marvel wondered if you took away Thor's flowing blonde locks, hammer, and cape, just who would he be? It's a question we didn't know we needed the answer to, but it added so much depth to the character. Now that we know what's going on with the God of Thunder, we can concentrate on other important questions. Like, where the heck is Loki? Bring back that boy! So, what do you think about what Thor experienced in Avengers Endgame? Do you think it was a fitting entry into the God of Thunder's story, or would you have liked to see something different? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below, and click on that subscribe button for more videos from us here at CBR. Bye for now.